Hi, I'm Arthi Shah. I'm a story listener, storyteller, and an all-round conversationalist. I will be your host for Out of the Box Shepparton. Today, we are gathered at St. Paul's African House, where I would like to firstly acknowledge the lands on which this project is being filmed and produced, the lands of the Yorta Yorta people, and I would like to acknowledge the elders past and present and emerging. Out of the Box is a Multicultural Arts Victoria initiative that is aimed at creating rich and engaging podcasts that give a platform to diverse artists across Shepparton and Bendigo to tell their stories and have a dialogue about their art. Thank you to Regional Arts Victoria for funding this amazing project and to all our other partners for providing support to allow us to hold space for the artists sharing their creative journeys. Welcome, Gracia. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
My name is Gracia.
Yeah.
Some people call me Grace though, so I go by both.
Yeah.
I'm from Congo and I've been in Australia for about, I reckon, maybe 18 years or maybe 20 because I came in 2006. So
Wow.
yeah, how many years is that? I don't know. I think like 18 or 19 years.
Yes.
Yeah.
Came to
So
Australia.
it's been a while.
Yeah.
I currently am a marketing manager at a cosmetics and skin clinic in Shepparton.
Yeah.
I've always loved marketing and being creative and just thinking of new ways of doing things.
Yeah.
So I think that's where my passion sort of lies. I love being around creative people and just, watching how people think and do things differently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing. I'd love to unpack your creative journey. Let's start in your childhood.
Yeah.
What are some of the experiences or memories you have that you think about today and influence your work to some degree?
Yeah. I think as a child, because we were, in Africa, we were always outside. We're always playing, like doing things, building things, being crafty. And I think that's I grew up with that. So, and I remember I always wanted to be Rihanna. So that's just the start.
Yes. Yeah.
I loved her. I loved her music, and I just thought, oh my gosh, she's just so beautiful. I loved the way she dressed, and then I was like, oh, that's cool. So I remember being young. Like I have this memory where I used to just dress up in like our cultural material, which is called a kikwembe. And I'll just, come up with like a way to tie it. And, there's just this little mini girl just dressed up as like a little adult. So I just have that memory somehow. And I felt so happy.
Yeah.
I remember just thinking I want to be creative when I grow up. I want to do something creative way. Like I either want to be a singer.
Yeah.
That didn't happen because I can't sing. You don't want to hear me sing.
Yeah.
And then, I was like, you know what? I love fashion. So I wanted to do fashion, which I've done a bit of that. And I ended up, doing my bachelor's and I did marketing and I absolutely loved that because it did, involve that business side of things and also that creative side of the things, which I really, really loved. Yeah.
That's incredible. I'm going to go back just a step and I'd love to unpack two questions with you. The first question is, you said you wanted to be like Rihanna.
Yeah.
When you looked at her and you remember your younger self, you said you talked about beauty and you talked about her clothes, but when you looked at her sort of in a deeper sense, what was it that drew you to almost think about the creativity side of things, but also ones that reflected what you loved and you wanted to be?
I think just it was the way she was. and the way she spoke. Not that like I understood English at that time as well.
Yeah.
But just the way that she held herself, she was so confident, and she seemed so free as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I think as a young kid, I love that. And
Yeah.
I think she was also the closest person who was not, I think, in Africa, that was closest to like my skin color. I know she's a little bit lighter than I am, but and I love that. And I think as a kid, you know, she was wearing the little mini skirts, and she just looked so beautiful. And I just love that about her. And I remember seeing her in like this short hair.
Yeah.
And you know, Mum always used to wear her hair really short.
Yeah.
And I really loved that. And I was like, oh, I can't wait to just dress up like her. I can't wait to do that, or you know, become a bit more like that. I think it was just the feeling that she gave me. I think that's what drew me to her.
Yeah.
It was just this confidence, and especially as a female, she's just so confident, and she seemed so free and loved what she was doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I look at Rihanna even today and I see that. I see the confidence, I see power, and actually almost owning or being comfortable in that skin.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
And just head held high up.
Yeah.
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 And the love for whatever it is she does.
And everything she does it perfectly.
Yes.
In my eyes anyway.
Yeah.
Still now, she's still someone that I'm like, wow, I'm just obsessed. Like, so beautiful. She's just so, she just gives this confidence in herself, towards herself, and she owns everything she says. Yeah.
And that
it's iconic.
And it's almost with that conviction, right?
Yeah.
Like,
I
believe what I say, and there's heart and soul in it, and that's what I'm putting out there. That's
absolutely.
Amazing.
Yeah.
The second question I wanted to unpack is that memory of you as a child. Describe it to us in detail.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's very vague and a bit blurry, but all I see myself is I'm standing outside our house in Africa, in Congo. There's voices of kids laughing, and I'm so tiny, like I'm small, like I'm so short. I'm wearing this little mini like kikwembe material around my waist to cover myself, and I'm wearing like another one as a little like crop top around me, all like tied to the back because obviously it's not sewn. And then I'm just looking at myself, like just smiling, and I feel so proud that I created this.
Yes.
When I literally just like wrapped material around myself. That's how I see that memory, and like I hope I don't lose it because I still remember it. And thinking how old I would have been at that age, I have no idea.
Yeah.
And I can't believe I still remember that.
That's incredible. And now I'll take you a little bit further. So from that memory, that love, and actually a deep connection to creativity is a broad term, but also that idea of how it makes you feel, what it reflects in terms of, is it a feeling of confidence? Is it a feeling of freedom? Is it a feeling of empowerment? Depending on, let's take us through your creative journey from your childhood. Like, what are things that inspired you, you were drawn to or connected to?
I think when it came to creativity and just motivation and what empowered me and inspired me, it would have been mostly like my grandmother and my mum.
Yeah.
They were such hardworking women, and this, like, my mum still is. My grandma like passed away a few years ago.
Sorry.
They were just, I remember them just, you know, waking up, always on their feet, always on the go, just doing everything for us. And, you know, Mum did it so elegantly. She always looked beautiful, stunning. Her hair was, amazing. And she always looked beautiful, but yet she would go off to the market, spend the whole day there, come back, still have, you know, dinner with her kids and be with her kids. And I thought, you know, I think seeing that was just so empowering and inspiring as well. And I was sort of like, from that, you know, I want to be this one day. I was like, being as motivated and, you know, on the go as they are, I can absolutely do that. And, you know, my grandma was just, she was just so amazing. You know, she would do her things at her house, and then she would come over to our house and just on her feet. They were always on the go. They're always on their feet and still raise like their kids, which was so powerful, I thought.
That's incredible. Gracia, I wonder if you've had any conversations with your mum and maybe when your grandma was alive about these reflections of how you saw them.
Yeah.
And have there been such conversations with them? And what did they have to say about it?
I've actually never had like these conversations with any of them.
Yeah.
Which, it's sad to think though that I have never like told my mum this. But I think for me it was just a memory that I had, and I just never thought. I think sometimes I'll be like, especially with me as a child with the material.
Yeah.
I think sometimes I'm like, is that even real? The fact that I still remember this. But I don't think my mum really knows how much how she is and what she did for us back in Africa, how that sort of really empowered me to be what I am today and to do what I need to do, and and just the way she raised us as well, and you know, being raised around the church and around family as well, being in a big family. I think you know, just work hard and, you know, pray and things will happen for you.
Almost creating those foundations and fundamentals for life, really. My other question to you is, you've mentioned a couple of times that idea of beauty and beautiful.
Yeah.
What is that to you?
I think for me, beauty is being so comfortable in your own skin. That's what beauty is. I think everyone is so different and everyone is uniquely themselves. And for me, beauty is being happy with yourself, your imperfections, and who you are as a person. That's what beauty is to me.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I work towards is, you know, loving myself and being confident in myself and who I am and what I do.
Yeah.
I think that's beautiful because I'm that girl who someone can tell me you're so beautiful. It's either like I already know that, or I need to know that. Like I need to believe that. You know, I get dressed every morning. I dress for myself. You know, I don't dress for anybody else because I like to look good. Like when I look good, I feel good. You know, I'm not dressing good so that I can look good for these people. I'm dressing good for myself. So I think it's really all about being comfortable, loving yourself, you knowing yourself as well, and understanding that. I think that's what beauty is, to me.
That's so interesting. You talking about your mum makes me think about my own mum. And through it all, like through, you know, raising kids, taking care of the elderly, because we lived in a multi-generational household, extended household, had about 18 people in one house at one time. But that idea of wearing a sari or going to an event in that traditional clothing, and you just see the pride. And then as an adult, I'm like, wow, that's thinking back to that time going, you know, they say that to kids, their parents are very beautiful to them. But now you think about, well, what makes it? Like, why is that even a saying? There's truth to it, but that idea of taking pride in where you come from, what connection you have to culture, tradition, and that confidence, within yourself.
Absolutely agree.
Thank you for that. So that's the beauty part of it. And the hardworking, the driven, the motivation that you have. take us through other parts of your creative journey that perhaps when I think about creativity, a lot of the times it's the glamour, the color, or the pattern, and that sort of beauty reflecting it. But then we don't talk about the depth of sadness or anger, or because that's still that energetic part of it,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
we're channeling it into something good to try to process it. Have there been any parts of life where that's been an influence into your creativity?
Yeah, absolutely. I think with my content creation business, there's there's so many people who do content creation for weddings and businesses, and the industry is growing a lot. So there's times where you do compare yourself, and I think that's fine. But I think the way that I try to look at it is I find it more like inspiring, and I think, wow, their work is so amazing. And I look at that, and that motivates me to like just keep going, because instead of seeing it as like, oh, they're doing it so much better than I am. And there's times where you really do doubt yourself, and you're like, oh, is this worth it? Am I doing a good job? So there is that behind the scenes stuff where there's doubt. There's there is that lack of patience as well within your work and yourself as well. And then there's also a lot of questioning about whether will people trust me, because I'm providing a service, and then so you need to hire me first, and then get the service later, if that makes sense. So there is that trust that comes with as a bride, the bride needs to trust me first and then hire me, and then I'll do the work, and then I'll deliver the product. So there is that where you question yourself and doubt yourself as well. But when you're posting on social media, I think people just think, oh, they're fine, like, they're doing great, but there's so much doubt, and that goes behind the scenes. And you question your creativity, like, is this creative enough? Is this video creative enough? Is this video, is it better than the other one? And, it's like, it's a battle within yourself. And then there's also outside factors that come into play as well, So I think that's something that I've tried to, like, I'm working on. I think just being patient with myself and trusting myself. And, I didn't start content creation because I thought it was a hobby. I started because I really did love it, and I have the passion for it. And every time a bride or someone books me, I'm just so honored, and I'm so excited, because I love, seeing how happy people are when I deliver these videos or photos to them. And that's why I do what I do, seeing the smile on their face. And I know, like, I did good, and I'm happy that they're happy.
That's amazing. I'd love to delve deeper into content creation. I was just speaking earlier, and I was telling Ree, I find when I'm having conversations with people, it really is such a sacred space. And that, to me, is a type of that content creation where we're having a conversation, but drawing out somebody else's story. And because it's so personal, it's almost like I've got to handle it with care and with utmost respect and love in that moment. Tell me, why content creation for you? What drew you to that to begin with? And you said that you love it, but what does that love look like for you? Because there's that, I don't know if I'm even asking if it's going to make sense, but there's that intrinsic pride or that intrinsic, like, I know this is it sort of thing. Take us through that journey.
So I'm someone who, as I said earlier, I like to think of different ways of doing things, and with content creation and the social media world, things are always changing. So that works perfectly for me, because I'm always thinking of, like, how can I do this? How can I do this differently? So I think that's where that comes from. And then when it comes to every person that I work with, their story is so different.
Yes.
And I'm part of that journey. Like, I'm going on that journey with them, and it's such a special thing, like, to me anyway. It's so special that, oh my gosh, I'm part of this person's journey. And a wedding is such an important part of someone's life. And how lucky am I that they chose me to, come along on this journey with them. And I think because the way that I am is like, I can be a bit of a perfectionist.
Yeah. Yeah.
So knowing how I need to handle this, like, this is someone else's day, and I'm going to work so hard to make sure that it is exactly how they wanted it for me to be.
Yeah.
They wanted it to be. So I try to understand them before, I attend a wedding or attend an event. And I think it's like, also sometimes it's them, when they do watch the video, it's them seeing how I saw them in my eyes, through my lens.
Yeah.
And they get to see that, and they get to see things that they weren't able to see because they were off doing something else. So I think I'm delivering them something from different perspective. It could be from their guest's perspective, it can be from my perspective, it can be from the mother's perspective. So there's always something so different and so special that I get to do.
Yeah.
And like, oh my gosh, how special is that?
Yeah.
I get to do that for a job. Like, I don't even know how to explain it. The feeling that I get, it's so rewarding.
Yeah.
It's so rewarding. Like, how many people get to do that?
Yeah.
How many people get to say that about their jobs? A few people. I don't think a lot of people can. So I'm very, very lucky that I found that. Yeah.
That's amazing. And you can just hear it in your voice, Gracia, and see it. You hear that love and the passion. And it reminds me of a Japanese concept, ikigai. Now, ikigai is, you know the Venn diagram, the 3 circles?
Yeah.
And the bit right in the middle is ikigai. Something you're good at, something you love, and what you're getting paid to do. And how many people truly do find that?
Yeah.
But how important is it to be able to have that?
Absolutely.
Yeah. For
very,
you.
very lucky. Yeah.
And something that I was thinking about, you said that when they hire you for a service, that you want to know their story first. You get to understand them. What are some of the things you do to get to that point where you've got a real good understanding about almost their stories individually, but then that togetherness as well?
Yeah. I think just having, honestly, just a conversation with them, learning how they met and, and sometimes, you see a couple together and straight away you know exactly what kind of couple they are. And the way that they answer my questions as well, so I've got a list of questions that I ask them, the way that they are together, the way that they interact and answer those questions, I can see it. Like, they're, for example, there'll be like, a couple where, that the guy's very laid back, like, nah, I want her to have whatever she wants. And then there's couples where, like, the guy's the jokester, so they make the girlfriend or fiance laugh. I think just having a conversation with them, that's how I learn it. And I do have a list of questions that I do ask them, and I think you learn a lot about someone by just having a conversation with them.
Absolutely.
And so that's really, really important for me to have before doing any weddings, because I need to understand them, or at least know them a little bit, so that I know exactly how I can capture their day.
Yes. So, since you started your content creation business, let's take us through your first wedding. Yes. Yeah. Take us through how did they find you on socials or wherever, to what was your process like? And then at the end of it, what was that like as well?
I actually remember, I was planning my own wedding, and this was years ago, before content creation was even like, I'm just going back, before content creation was even a thing. I remember asking my partner, I'm like, do you reckon anyone would ever pay, like, they will ever pay for me to, like, take videos? You know how people take videos on their phones at weddings? Do you reckon anyone would ever do that? And then I remember he didn't really say much, and I was like, and I just like wiped away the idea. I'm like, nah, like that's never a thing. And then it became a thing.
Yeah.
And then I remember I was doing my own planning for my wedding, and I wanted so many things captured, you know, and I wanted this captured, I wanted this, and there was always the little moments that I wanted captured, you know. I wanted someone to capture me, you know, behind the curtains before I walk down the aisle. I wanted people to get me. I know I will be crying when I do get married. So I wanted that moment to be captured, because I know that the videographer or photographer, they'll be, you know, in the church or like with my guests, waiting for me to walk down. So no one's capturing me behind, you know.
Yes.
When I'm away taking photos, I wanted to, you know, I wanted to see what my guests will be up to. And when I'm about to walk in, because I'm myself and my partner, we're not going to be there to see like our bridal party walking in. So I wanted to see that. I wanted to see so many little moments that myself and my partner might miss.
Yes.
And I really wanted something that I can get the next day as well, or within a few days, so I can just start reliving it, because it's such a exciting day.
Yeah.
And a lot of people will say like, oh, you get married and then it's pretty much finished. Like, I don't want it to finish. I want it, like, at least to keep going for the next 2 or 3 days, you know. So I want to watch those videos while I wait for like my professional photos or you know, videos. So yeah, that's when I was like, oh, let's see if anyone's in Shepparton or regional. And I was looking and no one was doing it. So I was like, you know what? I love it. I already do it for work anyway. And I think it will be really, really good. I would love to do it and offer it for brides here. Yes. So yeah, that's how I started AM to PM content creation. And I remember that's where like you really test yourself, because like content creation was new. Not a lot of people knew about it. I think there wasn't a lot of trust for that service as well. So it was a little bit hard for me, because I did doubt myself. I did ask myself, like, is this worth it? Is anyone going to like want this service in the regional area? And I remember I got a message from a bridesmaid who wanted to gift me to her bride, for her friend.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, how special is that? Yeah, so she hired me through by just messaging me on my Instagram page.
Yeah.
And all the girls got me as a gift to the bride. And I remember being so excited, and like, I just wanted to capture everything. I remember I captured so many videos. I think that'd be too many.
Yeah.
And I think as the more weddings I did, the more I just learnt about things and how to do things differently as well, and what worked well, what didn't work well.
Yeah. And that's part of any journey, isn't it? Like that reflection, because as much as we want everything to work 100% well, if it does, then are we actually going to learn from it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? And like you said, things are changing all the time, which means there are more mistakes to be made in that sort of change.
Yeah.
In that first wedding, what are some of the moments you captured and you think about them as we are sitting right now?
As soon as you said that, the first thing that came to my mind.
Yeah.
So this bride, she did a first look with her parents. And oh my gosh, I still watch this video, just how special that was. And like, it's actually making me I don't want to cry. As I said, I don't want to cry. It was so special. Yeah. So special. Like, the joy in like her parents' eyes and faces was just so beautiful, and those were the moments I wanted to capture.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, this is why I'm here. I'm here to get this, and then to be able to give her this the very next day.
Yeah.
Like, that's why I'm here. And I'm so lucky that I'm part of this moment, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was so beautiful. That's one of the moments that I just remember. And I think also her walking down the aisle and just seeing how the groom reacted, and she had two little girls who were part of it as well, and just seeing how the interaction between her and her girls that morning was just so special.
Yeah.
It's something that, you know, these videos are something that they're going to look onto, like when the girls are older, and like, wow. It's just so special. Like, I love that for my brides. I love that. Yeah.
And I think that is so meaningful at this very moment when this is a wedding, or it could be a momentous occasion of sorts. But that first glance, that first time kind of feeling, to be able to capture those ones is a precious gift, because they're such fleeting moments and they pass by so quickly. If they remain uncaptured, then
it's gone.
That's it. And you can still remember the feeling, but also that could fade away at some stage, right?
Yeah. And it's all such, I think, natural moments. It's nothing staged. It's all just happening within the moment, and it's very real.
Yes.
Real moments, and I love that. I love that I get to capture those.
Yes.
You know,
the raw, unedited moments happening in that time.
Yeah.
Incredible. So once you have captured these moments, what happens after that?
So once I've captured them, so my thing is I deliver everything to the client the very next day.
Wow.
So I go home, depending on what package the bride and groom purchased. I then create edited reels for them. So these are videos that they can either post on Instagram or TikTok.
Okay.
And, you know how, like, you get married, you want to post something straight away.
Yeah.
So you get these photos and videos straight away that you can post on your social media, to introduce yourself as newlyweds, and that's what they get. So I go home, I edit these videos, I upload everything to an online folder for them, and then I send it through to them. And happy watching. It's very, very quick, very easy. I think, for me, like, after I finish the wedding, my job doesn't stop there. I need to go home and start editing and start uploading. And I think that's where most of the time takes, because there's thousands of videos and photos that needs to be uploaded. And there's also that time that everything needs to be delivered. And I think that's what sort of differentiates us from professional videographers and photographers a lot, because we do deliver within a short amount of time as well. Yeah.
Wow. Tell us about some of your packages that are available.
Yeah, so I've got, just depending on hours, I've got a 3-hour package, 6-hour, 8 hours, 10 hours, and they all just include different things. A few of them include, like a lot of them include edited reels.
Yeah.
So these are the videos, and also you also get the raw unedited footages as well.
Yes.
I always do a consultation. Always. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. And then I also do customized packages, because everyone's different. Some brides might need me for less than the 3 hours, or less than the 8 hours. So I do custom packages, and I work within each bride's budget as well. So I love to be able to offer that to them. Yeah, so
that's just incredible. And so is it purely weddings at the moment? Are there other?
I do purely just weddings. I have done a few like wedding vendors.
Yeah.
So like stylists.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking about doing businesses as well. But I have gotten a few inquiries from business owners who want content creation. So it's something that I'm thinking about.
Beautiful.
I could probably do a few, probably not a lot, just because I've got my own wedding. Plus, I do work full time.
Yes.
But I think, I'm just going with the flow where things take me, and I'm that person who I'm like, yes, I'm a yes girl. Yes, let's do it. Yes, let's do it. So yeah, it's all very exciting. I love it. And I love how different everything is every time. You think because I do weddings and it's all like, oh, isn't it just the same thing? No, it's all different journey, all different stories, different moments, different reactions. So it's always so exciting.
Absolutely. How wonderful and how special. Like you said, it's an honor to be a part of someone's big day.
Yeah.
That's incredible. So, Gracia, one of the questions we've been talking about is, what does an ideal AM to PM in a perfect world or a goal that you might even have? Where would you see your services going?
Yeah.
What are the challenges that something you may foresee that might occur, and how would you navigate them?
In the perfect world, I would love to do so many different like cultural weddings.
Yeah.
So, I've done a Greek wedding already, and that was really good to see the different traditions that they have.
Yes.
Like, I know, me coming from a Congolese background, like, our weddings are crazy. Like, there's so many traditions.
Yes.
It's like a big party.
Yeah.
You invite 200 people, 600 show up. So stuff like that. So I love, I love to see how different cultures and how different, how they do their weddings. So I would love to do different weddings. Like, I would love to do an Indian wedding. I would love to do, a Tongan one. I just want to do so many different ones. And I think from those weddings, I will learn a lot. I'll be part of that experience. And I'll also be able to offer such a different service to them as well.
So, Gracia, in saying that, do you foresee any challenges, considering content creation is a fairly young kind of profession, as in not young in age, but just
New.
It's a new profession. And thinking about the history of weddings, for instance, it's old history. And how do you bring the old and the new?
I think because what I do is, I think you really do need to have the passion for it. And it's people need to see it.
Yeah.
Before, I guess they can then trust me or trust what I do to then hire me. So I think just having that passion, and I think also word of mouth really does help a lot.
Yeah.
A younger, kid might speak to their mum and say, hey, there's this new thing, a girl will record on her phone and then blah, 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 I think having that trust from that person already, and then them advocating for me, and then getting that trust. Because I have had, weddings where a few people will be like, oh, even some grooms, they're like, oh, I don't know about like content creators. And then on the day and after the wedding, they're like, oh my gosh, I'm so happy. We hired a content creator. Like, I understand why it's important to have them. And that's why I say, like, with our service, it's about just how you are on the day, and the experience that you do provide, and the service that you do provide as well. And, it is a trust that there needs to be a trust there from those who aren't familiar with content creators before anything else. So I like to be, like, I already am very passionate about what I do. And you know, everything that I go through that leads up to then me doing a wedding is all about me building that trust with the client, and if it is about educating them about what I do, then I will do exactly just that.
That's so interesting, and it makes me think about that idea of education, but not just education on what you're doing, but how does it align with the other person's, could be culture or event, and how do the two marry and get integrated? But that requires quite a bit of time and conversations and understanding, I suppose, from the younger generation to translating it to the older generation. So is there anything that you can think of from, say, a different artist lens, where you do have your products, you have your creativity by your side, but the barrier is getting into the market or getting into how can that be supported, whether it's by the local council or just externally, how could that be supported?
Definitely like word of mouth, and I think also just they like being more, I think, information about content creation or about that artist.
Something that I thought about earlier is that idea of storytelling, and that idea of really trying to understand somebody's art or passion because there's an underlying story there, to get to know the person, to get to know the work, which is more than the products.
And I think sometimes when you do get to know the person before you get to know the product or what it is that they do, you know, I believe that however the person is, what you get from them is what you will get from their art. I do believe that the person is their art. And whether it might not be for example, with artists, they might seem, you know, you might look at them and they look so different, and then you look at the art that they produce and it's so different as well. But they could be showcasing who they are inside, or their imagination, or their creativity. But I think that trusting the person, trusting the artist, and you know, trusting the service as well. And it's all about asking questions. Like, if you don't know, just ask the question and have those conversations with them, and I'm sure they'll be more than happy to you know, tell you about them or give you more information.
That's right. So we've talked about content creation. Your other role is marketing manager. Tell us about that journey. Again, different side of creativity.
Absolutely. So I did a bachelor's degree in business, and I majored in marketing and management at La Trobe. And actually the reason why I did that, I actually wanted to do a fashion course. So I wanted to move to Melbourne, do a fashion course, but I wasn't allowed to. So I was like, okay, what else can I do? What else can I do to that could be similar, that I could use later for when I can move to Melbourne and do my fashion course? So I was like, you know, I'll do business. You know, eventually I need to run my fashion business, so this is going to be great. So I did business, majored in marketing, and I loved it. I was like, oh my gosh, this is so good. I love it. And then I did a few internships in marketing, and I started to realize that, and then I got my first job in marketing as well, and I started to realize, I'm sort of drawn towards like the social media side of things, and I even did digital marketing as well.
Wow.
Probably not really my strong suit. Prefer the content creation side of things. So and eventually did marketing for a few businesses, different industries. I did education, I've done aged care, but I never did fashion or a beauty industry. So And that's sort of where my interest lies. And I think being from Shep, I just could never find anywhere that I could do that, be like marketing plus work in that industry. And I also didn't want to move to Melbourne. So I was like, okay, what can I do? And so where I work is they're called A&O Cosmetics and Skin. I've been following Olivia's journey for so long, and I always thought she was such a powerful woman within the regional industry, just from how she started her cosmetics business in a regional area where it's not very common, and just the way she's built it, now, like she's got over like 10K, she's got 10K plus followers now.
Wow.
And I'm pretty sure like 3,000 clients. So it's just incredible how she did that as a mum, a wife, and a business owner. I think that was really inspiring, and I was like, I would love to work for her.
Yeah.
I remember saying that, but she did amazing on social media. I'm like, nah, she doesn't need me. She's probably got someone else doing it, so all good. So a few months ago, last year, I did marketing in aged care, and I wasn't really enjoying it. So I was like, I resigned, and I was like, I was literally jobless. I had nothing. I was doing my content creation still, loving that, but I needed something else. And then that week, I opened my phone on social media. She's looking for someone.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
And I grabbed my phone. I went on my laptop. I applied for that job.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure, I think the next day she called me, went for an interview.
Yeah.
This is funny. Went for an interview. An hour after the interview, she called me.
Love it.
To offer me the job. And I was like, no way. No way.
Meant to be.
It was meant to be.
Yeah.
And I was telling her, like, I honestly wanted to work here for so long.
Yeah.
And now I am. And working there, it's only been 3 months. My goodness. I've never worked in a workplace where, and I'm saying this, like, I've never worked in a workplace where the boss, she's all about her stuff.
Yeah.
Like, her stuff, the environment comes first. Her clients comes first. She just takes care of us so much. And I don't feel like I go to work. Like, I honestly don't feel like I go to work. I feel like it's just such a beautiful workplace to work, like place to work. And the girls are amazing. And I'm doing content creation, what I do for my own business. And like, I'm so lucky. I'm so lucky. And it's been amazing. And I'm learning so much about my own skin.
Yeah.
About how to take care of it. And I'm also learning, how to just love everything about myself as well, because those girls are just my biggest hype girls, and they just think I'm just this gorgeous, wild person who, and just going to work and being empowered by the people who you work with, and your boss is it's incredible, and you really do get that boost of self-confidence as well, and she supports my business. You would think that because I do it as a side business, she'd be like, no, like, you're already doing it for us, don't do it. But she's like, no, you go, you keep going. She really does support me, and it's so incredible.
That is just how beautiful to have two separate parts of your lives, but almost two different ikigais.
Yeah.
That is absolutely wonderful.
Very lucky. Like, I'm so happy with my job. I'm happy with my content creation business. Like, I'm so lucky. I can't believe it. Like, it did really got to a point where I was like, before, getting my job at, I really did go through some doubts. I'm like, okay, what is it? Am I going to another job that I don't really like? Because you start off in your 20s and you're like, okay, I need to make money because I want to, build a house, or I need to support myself. I need to support my family, and then you get to a point where it's like, it's not really about the money. It's about doing what you love. And I really did, when I resigned my last job, it was that decision. I'm like, I need to do what I love.
Yeah.
I need to sacrifice the money and pick happiness, because I need to wake up and love what I do.
Absolutely.
And now that I do that, and it was so worth it. It was so worth the risk.
Yeah.
And I had a wedding as well to plan. So I was like, gosh.
Yeah.
So it was worth the risk, because look where I am now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is so wonderful. And Gracia, when I think about 2 different parts of your life, creativity has been the common thread through it all. With being a marketing manager or just life in general, what inspires your creativity? And I mean that deep inspiration.
Like, I'm leaning towards like people. Like, I think people really do inspire my creativity, like people and the feeling that I get around people.
Yeah.
In conversations as well. I add conversations in there because, I'll be having conversations with people and they'll be telling me their story, or they'll be telling like, oh, we want to do this. And then my brain is just working like, oh, yes, we can do it. We can do it like this. We can do that. We can do this.
Yes.
And then it gets to a point where I'm not even listening to what they're saying, because I'm like, oh yeah, you mentioned this. Let's do that.
Yeah.
I think people, and just seeing how, like, what they want. I love helping. I love making something happen for people. And with, if I get to use that, like if I get to use that passion of mine to do that for this person or for this, business, oh my gosh, amazing.
Yeah.
So I think it's that really, it is really that, like having that conversation with someone and then wanting to do something for them. It becomes about them.
Yeah.
And then them being so happy. I guess you can say like pleasing people.
Well,
but
yes.
just I think that, like, just being able to do something and being able to achieve something for them.
Yeah.
Whether it's little, it's so small, or it's big.
Yeah.
I'm happy.
But almost that meaningful, what's meaningful to them, to be able to lay that out on the table, make it tangible.
Yeah.
So they're seeing what you are seeing.
Yeah.
And what you said before, that through your lens.
Yeah.
And we're like this as people. We may not see it in ourselves, but we'll immediately see it in somebody else.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
say it.
Yeah.
But within ourselves, it takes a long time. Yeah. That's incredible. So, Gracia, the other question I had is for your younger self. What you are doing now, what are some key messages, advice, wisdom, pearls of wisdom that you'd like to give your younger self?
Be kinder to yourself. Be patient with yourself, and also be patient with God. Because I do believe that He has a plan for us. He has, and you just have to be patient.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, I think, appreciate the small things. Appreciate the small things, because sometimes it's the small things that make the big impact. Yeah.
Absolutely. The power in the small.
Yes.
Trivial stuff.
Yeah.
And the second part to that question, what would you tell your older self?
I would say I would probably say the exact same thing. Be kinder to yourself. You did great. You did what you like, what you could do. I would say to be proud, and I will also say to live life in the moment. Yeah, I'll probably give my younger self the same advice as well. Live life. In the moment. Yeah. My partner will listen to this and that advice is like, you need to give yourself that advice right now.
And they're the micro moments, right? We're talking about that is so important, that are so precious.
Yeah.
And acknowledging their presence.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think we really, I know I'm like that. Sometimes you really, because you're so worked up about something, or it's like you're blind, your mind's blinded by other things that you don't appreciate or you don't really see how special and how amazing the present or the current moment is. And then you look back and you're like, oh, like I wish I wasn't like that. Or I wish I wasn't stressed about that. I wish I was just like, you know, there in the moment enjoying it. Because time is just so precious. It just grows.
Yeah.
Really just be present and enjoy life.
And yet that's one of the hardest lessons, isn't it?
So hard.
It's
So
literally
hard.
a lifelong lesson.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Gracia, where do people find you? Sorry, 2 questions. Where do people find you to access your services?
Yeah.
Question 1. Question 2, as an artist, what are some of the things that you've noticed through your work that could potentially bring artists together to help empower them, to help, create a bit of a hub or just to get them noticed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For the first question, you can access my work through social media as a content creator. Everything is on social media. So on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook as well.
Yeah.
So at AM to PM content creation.
Yes.
And with the second question, I think definitely like networking. Like, don't be scared to put yourself out there. There's so many amazing people out there who are doing the same thing that you're doing. You know, there's so many amazing content creators who, you know, will support you. And, you know, like photographer, there's so many photographers and videographers who just support and love my work. And I work with them and, you know, they just want to know more like about what I do. And then, you know, they share my work on their feed. And just that support, I think, just that and collaboration. I think just put yourself out there and network, and that's how you really do create that. I think that hub of people, like-minded people who are in the same industry as you are, and probably go through the same thing that you go through. You know, you do doubt yourself. You do question your work. Like, is it good? Is it better than the last time? And you really like. I think people don't realize how many people are going through the same thing, and people just don't really talk about it. So supporting each other, networking, collaborating, putting yourself out there.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing your story about being an artist and creativity, and telling us about those key moments in your life.
Thank you.
Brought out this love.
Thank you so much.
Beautiful.